You know, we had a pretty good little windstorm here last night, evidently. I slept right through it. This corn, it's starting to tassel. Of course, that over in the back is already tasseled, but it looks like that I'm going to have my work cut out for me if I decide to try to straighten this corn back up, because believe me, it done a number on it. I'll get down here and show you. You can see right there the corn. Looks fairly good, but when we turn around through here, you can see right down the row there what it done to it. It done a number on it, believe me. It just gutted it right down the middle. Got a few doing well here. That corn is just now it's putting its tassels out. This corn on this side is already tasseled and got silk on it. I hope that is already pollinated. If it's not, it'll be greatly reduced. You can see right down through here, and then I'll just look down the row. You can see right down there, yeah, where she started blowing over. Now we'll just wheel around through here. You can see the first two rows, and then in the middle of the patch, it just devastated it. It just laid her to the ground. Got one right there in the middle. That, my friend, is an amazing sight right there. One stalk in the middle of all that, standing tall. It just refused to go down. Now, you know, a lot of that corn might be able to be stood back up, might be saved, I have no idea. I guess right now is as good a time as any to find out. I'll see if it can be stood up. I don't know. Let's check it out, see if it can be, if it's possible. Now the sun will try to draw a lot of this up, because it's muddy. It came a typhoon, evidently. And this corn might be able to, it won't stand up on its own, I don't believe, but it might. Just have to get in here and give it your best shot. It's either do this or try to either do this. Some of this needs to be broke out. Them suckers need to be broke out anyway. Some of it's broke off, literally broke the stalks. When you're trying to straighten this corn up, this ain't my first rodeo with it, I can tell you. You think that you want to push on one side and pry it over. Whoops. The side it blowed this away and blowed it that away. So you know, if it's standing like this, you think you want to push it up and put your foot on this side and pry it back that way. You put your foot on the side of the corn stalk that the direction of the wind opposite of how it's laid down, and it'll hold that up better. You'd think opposite, but nope. This'll give you an idea of what might work. I'll show you one thing. If you don't do this, it'll be down dead. And another thing, right now's the time to do it. You don't want to sit here and wait a day or two, because if you wait a day or two, it will it'll start cupping up, trying to turn up. These little old suckers that's suckered out on this stuff, we'll just leave them laying on the ground. There's some back in there I'll have to get to some way. The little suckers. And if that wind will stay down for a while, this might accidentally stand up. This corn where I'm working at right now is pollinated. It's pollinated. We definitely want to try to get it stood up. Now I'll get over there on that side and finish this row out. Let's go back and see what we can do right here. We'll try it. We'll give it our best shot, won't we? I tell you, it's just muddy in here. A good time to sucker this. And it needs it anyway. We can get that to stand up for a few hours. We'll be ahead of the game. Let's pull them up. I'm needing to weed this anyway. I guess right now is a good time to weed it, ain't it? If we can just get it stood up, the sun will take care of it. It'll straighten it up. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna try to do to this corn patch. And see if that don't help, or if it won't help. Just a pure mud hole in here. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to try to. I'm going to. It's already, the sun's already drawing it. And it would try to draw it and straighten it plumb up. But the way it's laid down, it can't. But in order to save that patch of corn, that's what I'm going to have to do. And we'll see if it works. We'll see. If I can just get them stood up, it'll be a lot better. Just if it's to get them to stand on their own, they'll go ahead and tighten up maybe if the wind don't get up again, and we'll save our little patch of corn here. One stalk at a time. And this, like I say, while I'm at it, I can just go ahead and thin the corn a little. If I can keep my feet, where I can move here. You can walk off from this and forget it, or at least try. You can at least try to straighten it up. At least try to. While that ground is good and wet, when that ground dries out, it's not going to be near as easy to straighten that stalk up. What would happen then is it'd want to break on you. it would want to break. It's going to be a few hours out here, I can tell you. So that's what I intend to do. I'll show you after I get it straightened up. It'll work. Okay, you can see I've got some of it stood back up out through there. I like that much now. We'll get her after a while. That wind's picking up. If it'd lie, it'd be all right. But if it don't lay down, the wind, you straighten this up, it'll just blow it back over. It blows it over a time or two, it'll break the stalk, and that'll be the end of it. But I think this hickory, or silver queen corn, or silver king, I think it'll be all right. If I could get it straightened up and get it stood up. See, this corn's just now starting to send its tassels out. It can't be laying on its side when it gets ready to pollinate. If it does, there'll be no corn. There'll be no corn. Now that little old stuff on the other side over there, see, this was just now starting to send them big anchor roots down too. If we could get them in the ground, it'd hold. But there's none to hold now. It's worth a try here. Worth a try. People tell you it's cheaper to buy corn. They're not lying to you. They are not lying to you. But we've got to give this a change, don't we? Hot, man. We'll be back. That made that look a little better, didn't it? Yeah. We'll go down there and give her a shot. Again, that wind's getting up. Hopefully it'll stand up. If it keeps a blowing, there ain't much need of fooling with this if it keeps blowing over now, are they? It's a doing its best to try to stand up. This old red clay mud ain't much to deal with, is it? And half of that needs to come out there. I'll just tell you, I'm beginning to wonder if this is gonna be worthwhile, because some of this is broke. It's broke off. It is broken off, I'm telling you. Now I had every bit of that over there stood up, and that wind's blowed it back down again. It sure has. I might need to wait till this evening to try to stand this up. Maybe, I don't know. I'm telling you, it's broke. It is broke. the stalks broke. It just didn't get the time to be able to put the anchor roots down. Ah, Lord. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is even starting to it's starting to try to stand up too. And silk rather. Putting silk on it. Tasseling silk, and it's got to be stood up or there'll be no corn on it. What's happened is that wind's caused it to pull the anchor roots up. Whew, Lordy, Lordy. Suckers. Suckers. Pull them suckers over there. Down it went and up it came. See, I straightened every bit of that up and it's blowed over again. So, what will stand up will and what won't. Suckers. Oh, the suckers. You know, I'm trying to get this cone to stand up, but I'll tell you, I've stood a lot of this up twice already. Wind kind of just keeps taking it back over. Some of it's gonna stand, some of it ain't. But if we don't try to stand it up, it won't stand at all now, will it? If we could get it up to where it'd stand, that wind would die down a little, we could get it to maybe stand up long enough for them roots to take root and this ground to set back up. Well, see, a lot of this broke off. Bent over and broke off. It'll never stand back up. It will never stand. We just do as good as we can do. And that's it. Give it a good shot. And we can say that that's all we can do. If the wind would stay down, it'd be all right. And it'll save some. It'll probably give us all we need anyway. And if it blows down every bit of it again, it's be tilled in. Be good fertilizer. All we can do is give it a shot. But without trying, I can tell you what'll happen. It will produce absolutely nothing. And that's a fact. But by trying, it could possibly save some of it. I really should have checked the wind before I done this, but I'm wanting this to stand up. If you leave this laying down and it's laying flat, that sun will draw that top up. And then when you stand it up, it'll be not very straight. Where that blowed over flat to the ground, it kindly pinched them stalks down at the bottom a little. And the ones that are pinched very bad, they'll probably never stand up straight and stay standing up. But I'll do this one time. One time, my friend. And if this stands up, or shows promise of standing, and it is, then when I'll give it maybe like in the morning, I'll come back and walk through it again. And the ones that are way over, I might try to see what I can do for them, but this ground's already drying. And when it dries, if you've got them big stabilizing roots down there, if they're in the ground and it's trying to hold, that ground would dry. They would come more after surviving, standing up, you know. And if this don't stand through here fairly thick, the pollination rate is not going to be too good. Corn needs to be fairly thick. The ones that didn't blow flat is a lot more apt to survive. Because you can just, it don't take much. If you watch behind me, you'll probably see if this wind blowing, some of them be hitting the ground as fast as I can straighten them probably. Just like I say, it's an effort. At least it's an effort, you know. We're doing our best. I'm putting the effort out anyway. Putting the effort out. Wait a minute now. There. Little stalk of corn. Maybe you'll stand. If you don't, you go ahead and fall over. Hey, look at that. See, they're broke. They're broke at the ground. And most of the ones that are broke is these littler, smaller stalks. But even the big ones, I'd say 80% of the corn blowed down. And right in the center is one stalk standing. One stalk. I believe this corn would have been okay and not laid over near as much if the ground hadn't been so saturated. Because it was saturated. I do know I'm going to give the chickens some lamb's quarter, because I'll assure you they like it. They already know what's coming. Lamb's quarter, believe me. Ouch. That's not a lamb's quarter, that's a hogweed or something there. Chirp. y'all want some of your favorite weeds. Chirp. Four, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17 hens, 16 eggs, and the day ain't over. This corn, what I've got stood up, is going to stand. I mean, it's the only one that's got a potential to stand. And it's going to fall right back over. And that means I've done all I can do here. All I can do is try these right here one more time. Just like I say, I might be able to, the ones that's standing's the only ones gonna stand. Rest of them's on the ground, they'll do what they can do, because I've done all I know to do. They just ain't gonna stand. They're broke off. They're compromised at the base of the stalk. So you can see the damage. That is what she looks like now, that I made an effort to try to stand that corn up. Now right off in the middle there's a lot that went right back down. It fell right back down. Now the sun might actually pull some of this up. That one there is creased. Might lay it over that way and it might do something. But like I said, I might be able to come back in here in the morning when this ground seasons out and dries out a little more, and might be able to straighten some of it out up better than it is, you know. But now the wind has tossed this right back over. I had a lot of it up. It was standing pretty good. But just like I say, that wind, it's been blowing back up to about 11, 12 mile an hour today. This whole row out through here. Of course, like I said, if that corn got pollinated, then even though it is over, it'll still grow corn. But that is what we got to face this morning when we got out. I know there's giving storms, but I didn't hear any. I slept right through it. But seems like a catastrophe. But it didn't get it all. It left 10, 15%, which is okay with me. Okay with me. You know, this is an example of selecting your place that you're going to plant your crops. When I planted this corn, it went through my mind, and it dawned on me that this is not a good place. It's on this knoll. It's open to the right of the corn. Back this way you got trees and stuff that kind of blocks, but right back in here, basically kind of out of the northeast, or northwest rather, northwest side. I believe that's the way that wind come whipping through here. But it don't matter. The thing of it is, when you plant a crop, you've heard the old saying that a bird in hand's worth two in a bush. Don't never take for granted that you'll have a successful crop. Multitudes of things can happen. Drought, pest, wind, hail, you know. So that's the fundamentals of things. You know, if your life, I'm saying if your life depended on these crops, that's why people tell you when you're canning and putting up food, do your best to put 2 years up at a time, because stuff can happen and you'll have to fall back on that reserve that you've got. I'm saying, you know, it's wise to do that. It's still easy today. You can go out and buy corn, you can buy whatever you want. It's still easy to get. More expensive, but it's easier to get. But that's I had a crop over here several years back. Oh my goodness, 4 times big as this. I went over there one day to check on it, and it looked like someone started on that west side of that patch and run a steamroller over it. It was flat. A few was off into the right corner of it, and facing it would be your left. But there was a few there, but it just annihilated the patch, and it tried to stand back up, see? But that corn was about in the state that this corn right here's in when it blowed over. Of course, it was twice as tall. And it tried to turn up. The tops of the corn stalks turned up, trying its best to straighten up. But it just couldn't do it, and all the corn was laying parallel with the ground and didn't amount to nothing. The horses loved it. I see something I want to show you right quick. Something that had got by me all spring till just now. So that is 3 little pawpaws. And then if you spin right around this way and go down, they're low this year, ain't they? Right on the ground. There's 3 more little ones. And I'll go look in there and see if I've overlooked any more. Yeah, right here's 3 more, 4, here's one. There's a couple. There's a few hid in here. Very, very, very light crop. I see nothing up high. Nothing up high. And just on that end there. Don't see nothing out in here. And I see some up in the top up there, 3. So these, maybe a few dozen here. There, maybe here's some. I'll show you these though. There they are. There are a few in there, very few. One more, right there somewhere. Oh, wasting my time. All right, that's it today.